Electric Cafe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's video is a review of a track by Dubtribe sound system called Mother Earth, which originally came out in 1993. I'm reviewing the 1995 remix by Simon Pearson, and which was featured on the Remixes record that year. This track was sent to me by, or recommended me to check out by my friend Josh Kolva, aka Mr. Kolva from Discogs, who I've known for quite a long time. We send each other tracks all the time for each other's opinion, and I definitely value his opinion. He knows his dance music, and so he sent me this track to check out. Of course, he's a big fan of Simon Pearson, and if you grew up on the West Coast like I did and Josh did, Dubtribe's sound system were almost like a household name in rave music during those years and electronic music, and also so was Simon Pearson. Pearson, was known for his track Two Crates, which was a huge breakbeat club hit in 1995-96, and then also he went on to remix other tracks like 20 Minutes of Disco Glory by DJ Garth and ETI, which was a West Coast classic as well. And he was a big fan of his and wanted me to check out this remix. Of course, Dubtribe's sound system was founded by Moonbeam Jones and also Sunshine Jones. Around 1996, they formed their own records called Imperial Dub Recordings, and that had a lot of good music on it. And so I'm interested to check out this remix. I've never heard this particular remix. I do have the original record of. Can't necessarily show it because I'm not at my house this week, but I do have the original record. It's a blue Organico labeled "The Mother Earth" from 1993. I do have that, but for a little bit of homework assignment, since I was going out of town, I did bring with me this particular uh, double CD that I have of Dubtribe's music from that time, and this has the original version of Mother Earth and also the Reggie Earth remix on it, as well as the Ammunition mix. So I thought I'd listen to this for a couple days and sort of get an idea of the original track and sort of revisit it and have something to drive over here to. So I was playing that in my car. It's been a while since I played any Dubtribe sound system. It's been quite a few years, and so I definitely wanted to revisit this double CD and get back into it, and that would kind of set me up to hear this track. So yeah, we're gonna check out the Simon remix of Mother Earth by Dubtribe Sound System, and I'll give you my overall thoughts and score on the track when we get back. All right, so there we heard Dubtribe Sound System's track called Mother Earth, and that was the Simon remix, which came out in 1995. Um, this brings back a lot of memories. It definitely it reminds me of Simon Crates, two crates, in the drum production, sort of at the end and at the very beginning. This is certainly a catchy rhythm, and I love the Eastern vibe to it. It kind of gives it a little bit of psychedelic angle to it, and that was sort of, to me, that was all about, that West Coast sound, and that blending that house music with break beats and breaks, and but also dub, and sort of a psychedelic, and even blending in some trance. It was a really exciting time to hear so many styles kind of come together. At some points, not this particular track, but music in this type of genre has a lot of memories for me. But it's also, there's a little bit of tracks that are sort of junky, and there's a lot of tracks that have a lot of memories, and you just can't knock their energy. And that's a track like this. Like, it's well produced and it's catchy, and it's trying a lot of different things. Some work, for the most part, everything works out. But then uh, maybe the last kind of build up and new sound that comes into it, maybe around like 4.5 minutes. Not sure if that part necessarily took it to another level. It kind of lost a little bit of steam in that part. Loved the first like 4 minutes of it. I love the shaker that comes in around like 1 minute and 16 seconds, and I love when a producer builds up a track and then they get to where they're gonna they have all the elements, are, the drum beat, the bass line, the percussion's all built up, and then you're kind of just getting into it, and it sounds really catchy, and then it just totally changes and it drops out, and you sort of have the psychedelic sound, and then it sort of builds back up. And love that sort of very, very vintage sounding track, and all the elements and how it flows is really brings back a lot of memories of that kind of vintage mid '90s sound. Um, the One of the things I say is it's again, it sounds very Simon like, bombastic, with the breaks and the breakbeat coming in. I was curious if anybody knows what that breakbeat is called. It's a classic breakbeat. I mean, I've heard Simply Jeff use it. I've used it in a lot of tracks, but I didn't know if that breakbeat necessarily has a drum name. I know there's, because I like that more than the Amen break myself. I know the Amen break is classic, and the way that people use it is pretty phenomenal over the years. But I love this particular. It's kind of, for me, it's kind of more for breakbeat and electro than really drum and bass. But I've heard Simply Jeff use this breakbeat. I've heard a lot of producers over the years use this particular breakbeat, and I love it. But just curious if anybody knows if it has a name. But this track definitely gives me desert rave flashbacks, like Dubtribe Sound System just in general do. Like with their track Creation, and also Mother Earth, and Play Loud, and just a lot of classic tracks they have that just gives me a lot of memories towards desert raves, in the mid '90s, being in California. Um, I think overall I give it a 7.5. I was actually going towards the 8, except for like the last minute or so. I mean, I do like the last like 30 seconds of the breakdown of the beat. I do wish this kind of was like an 8 or 9 minute track versus like 6 minutes. I do wish the beginning and middle sort of went on for maybe another couple minutes, and but I did feel like the last sort of from like 4 minutes to maybe like 5.5, 5:15, like that particular sound in there. I don't know if it was like a guitar or like a like a waka waka waka, you know what I mean? It just felt like it didn't really like take it to another level. But I do appreciate the sound because it's got that West Coast break sound, and and they're just trying different stuff, and into the mix, and different patterns and stuff like that, and you just can't knock it because they just took it to like the 11th degree when it comes to creativity, and just throwing all the sounds to the wind, and just trying all different things, and sometimes it works in the right in the right atmosphere. Like if I was at a rave, it may have worked, but if I'm at home listening to it maybe 30 years later, it's obviously going to have a different effect as if I was, at a rave in 1995 and this played. Maybe I wouldn't think the last part was kind of losing a little steam, but I do appreciate that it's trying something different. But maybe it could have been something sort of different. But overall, I still think it's a very good track. It's in between very good and excellent. I don't want to sound negative at all. I think it's a very good track for sure. But I always like to focus on, not necessarily focus on, but talk about what some parts that may be an opportunity for me personally. Because it'd be very boring if I just came on here and say, yeah, it's great. I like this. I like this. I like that. I like that. But I want to be balanced and I want to give my honest feedback. And I feel like the track kind of lost a little bit of steam, but it was pushing towards an 8, especially if putting myself, in 1995, and what I would expect and listen to a track like this and sort of think about it. It's super important, I think, to when you listen to electronic music from the 90s to put yourself in perspective of what came out then, what was, in the particular areas of that particular style. You definitely have to, because if you're going to give any song merit or give it sort of any, legendary status or verging on, the first to do something or what inspired what, which is big with electronic music and like West Coast, like if you listen to something like Simon Crates, then you're like, oh, that inspired a lot of tracks, a lot of different styles and was played at a lot of raves. You kind of, I wouldn't say you give it a better score than you normally would, but you do kind of understand the importance of that track. And I think it's important to sort of, in the same respect, also know the importance of, maybe there's an unknown importance of how the track inspired other people. And when you compare it to other things in that kind of generation and that style in that area, then you feel like, okay, this is more I wouldn't say more advanced, but it's more timeless. It's better sounding. It's this or that, and this one is definitely that. And for a West Coast track that combines all the different styles, I think it's far above average, and I think it's a very good track. But yeah, I appreciate you, Josh, sending it to me so I can check it out. If there's something that you'd like to request, my email is down below in the notes section. If there's an EP or an album related to electronic music that you'd like me to check out, just send me an email and I will, and we can discuss that. All right, thanks so much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Electric Cafe.